Hello, and welcome to our next Have Your Say episode. The topic I'll be talking about was voted on by you, the members of our Facebook community. All right, so today I'm going to talk to you about how do we remember who we are, why we are here, and how do we know we are learning our lessons, our soul lessons? Well, there are different layers to this. So remembering who we are. Remembering who we are is different stages. So it's about remembering who we are from our authentic self. So that's one stage, and that relates to our everyday physical reality self, right? Because once we can be aligned to who we truly are, our authentic self, which means in alignment to our passions, and a healthy level of how we see ourselves, perspective of love. Well, that in turn helps to activate more of the remembrance of who we are from higher levels. So who we truly are is source, is oneness. So how do we remember this? It's about raising our frequency. Many of you already know about how to raise your frequency. It's about changing our perspectives to higher perspectives, seeing the world from the eyes of the universe, from the cosmic mind, from source. That is through the eyes of unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, right? And also being love in action. So it's this raising of our vibration where we activate more of our divine blueprint and activate higher dimensions of awareness, higher dimensions of us into our now reality, a version of us where we remember more of who we are, right? Now, we have this thing called spiritual amnesia, which I like to call it, right? So we are already enlightened beings, yet we have forgotten who we are as God, as source, as oneness, right? But for some of us, we might see the amnesia as wrong, right? And then we see ourselves as limited. So it's these very perceptions of limitation, of victim mentality, of the world happening to us, not for us, where we further attach ourselves to the system of duality, to the denser dimensions of duality where victimization exists, where the intense emotions of fear exist, right? So for us to remember who we are is to start seeing the perspectives of who we are from the higher perspective, right? That is source, that is oneness. But it's not to also ignore the other dimensions of us in this reality, right? Our human selves. Okay, so it's not about just exploring these higher perceptions of self and who we are, but not addressing who we are in this reality. There is no separation. Everything is a micro of the macrocosm, right? So we need to really address who we are in this reality. So how do you see yourself? Are you connected to who you are, not just spiritually, not just from the higher perspective, but also in the physical sense? Or do you feel disconnected to who you are in your physical body, in your physical reality? Start from there, because everything expands outwardly. Our remembering of who we are, the awareness of who we are, the raising of our vibration can only come from turning that awareness inward, right? For some of us, it's, we tend to look at the higher perspectives, the metaphysical stuff, the metaphysical understandings of our greater reality, our spiritual reality, without addressing our physical reality. Because maybe our physical reality is just too hard. So we like to ignore the difficult things and just focus on the metaphysical stuff. But if we want to truly remember who we are, we need to focus on both, right? Balance. We are the bridge of the physical and the non-physical world. We can't ignore the one over the other. If we want to remember more of who we are, why we're here, that comes naturally. It's not certain, learning about certain metaphysical things without turning that stuff inwards, the wisdom within. We naturally remember who we are and our purpose in physical reality. But, there is also a general purpose. Of course, we're here to explore physical reality, to observe physical reality, That's how we expand. We're here to experience through joy. But we have free will. We can also explore this reality through fear. But it's up to us. But we also have unique purposes. All of this wisdom, remembering who we are, God, source, oneness, also allowing us to remember our authentic selves in our human expression, aligned to our passions and purpose here, right? That all comes naturally. When we choose love, when we choose acceptance, we raise our vibration. It's already there. So if you don't have that awareness, that is okay. Our awareness comes when we are ready, right? We have the information coming to us always in accordance to what we're ready to hear, what we are ready to know, according to our highest good, okay? So, also, how do we know we are learning our lessons? Well, sometimes we do not know that. That is okay. But just know that when you ever go through a challenging situation, know there are soul lessons in that. Whenever you have an intense negative emotion, there are soul lessons in that, clues within that. So anytime you face a challenge, know that you're going through a soul lesson. How do you know you've learned that soul lesson? Well, how do you feel when you're exploring such challenging emotions or experiences? Do you come out of it feeling empowered? Do you have a sense of relief? Or is there more further fear in relations to this? Or do you bury it? That's your clue. How do you feel? That is your guide. Your emotions are your guidance system. Okay, but with soul lessons, you might have dealt with a specific aspect of it and you feel the relief, you feel the empowerment. When you've gone through a challenge, this also helps to raise your frequency when you do the work, the soul work, the shadow work. However, that soul lesson might not be completed yet, right? You've just addressed a certain aspect of it, but it might come around and show up in other areas of your life. But this is also part of the system. But know that you are then seeing and addressing it from a higher perspective because you are always expanding. So if you perceive that you're always going back to the same soul lesson, you are not, because you are at a higher vibration, a higher dimensional version of you. You have more access to higher technologies and insights to address it, right? So you're always going through different aspects, different angles of a particular soul lesson, right? So it'll be transmuted when it's meant to. There is no race. It'll stay within your life, within your energy field, as long as it's needed for your evolution, what you chose to explore here. Okay? So with that, it's just about going through life with non-attachment, practicing unconditional love, unconditional acceptance by raising your frequency, actively raising your frequency by not just doing that internally, but also acting on love, being love in action. So it's about aligning to the perspective of source, of who you truly are, of your highest expression. And that is from a point of unconditional acceptance, unconditional love. So when you shift those perspectives within yourself, you raise your frequency, and then you can more easily use these perspectives with others by seeing others as also through the eyes of unconditional love and unconditional acceptance, by seeing that they are also you. So being love and oneness in action, for that is who you are. The more you align yourself to these perspectives and acting in accordance to these truths, what's going to happen is that you'll naturally raise your frequency, and you'll naturally remember this for yourself. One step at a time. The more you do this work, the more you become more sensitized to infinite wisdom coming through you, the more you finally tune your channel so you can consciously receive the flow of infinite intelligence coming to you, from the higher you. But what steps to take to be more in love in action. So the more you do this, the more guidance you receive to take tangible action. So to manifest and to remember more of who you are is also the second step, is to take the physical action. And this physical action might scare you, might frighten you, because it might ask you to go out of your comfort zone, right? To be exposed, so to speak. We naturally have a normal fear to have a fear of the unknown, but it's about us being okay to explore our zone where we're not comfortable in, right? By doing these things, by changing our perspective, by taking the physical, tangible action with the guidance that we receive, it is here where we naturally remember who we are and why we were here. And that is it. One step at a time, guys. But we're here to explore our physical reality, to embrace it all, because that's where our soul lessons are. We're not here to bury our heads in the sand when we experience fear. It's about changing our perspective to it by seeing that there are soul lessons here for our soul evolution. You don't have to suffer through it, but it's our choice. And how will we choose to explore? It's through our perceptions. So that's it. Just raise your frequency. And it might sound simple, but as you know, it is not. It might be challenging for you to take these perspectives, and that is okay. It is okay if you choose a perspective of fear. It's okay if you fall back into amnesia and see yourself as a victim. It is okay. We're having a human experience here, but it's just one step at a time, one action at a time, choosing love for ourselves and others. And that is when we experience and remember who we are. It's about aligning ourselves to unconditionality, because that is the truth of who we are. Guys, thank you for watching and see you soon. And if you want to engage and vote for future Have Your Say episodes, please join our Facebook community, and you can add your topic and vote in there. Okay? Love and light, and the journey to remembering it. Until next time, farewell.